Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Life Size Live. This is a live webcast hosted entirely on the Life Size platform. My name is Nikhil. I'm a sales rep here at Life Size, and I have the pleasure of introducing everybody to Mr. Steve Allen. He's one of our awesome sales engineers. Today, we're going to be talking about conferencing do's and don'ts. So, Steve, in your day-to-day activity, you're probably in video calls
every day,
right?
all day, yeah.
Right? So talk to us a little bit about some of the things that some people can do to kind of prep for the meeting and prepare for a successful meeting.
Yeah, a lot of issues arrive from people just not really preparing. And
Right.
so, yeah, a lot of just pre-game ritual, preparing for the call beforehand and testing your equipment can go a long way. So most video conference solutions and platforms that you're going to join, like LifeSize, are going to have kind of a test call flow, right? You can go in, they have tools to test your speakers, test your microphone. You see that little bar bouncing indicating that it's hearing you. Use those tools.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Use those to make sure your equipment is being recognized by your computer. It's set to the right inputs and outputs, and that way you're not doing this in a call. Also, test it before the call. If you have a chance to get on a quick call and kind of verify that stuff before the big meeting you're about to join, you don't look like that person that's delaying things while you figure everything out.
It's amazing what a little 5-minute prep.
Exactly, especially if you've never used this platform before, right?
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
And even if you have used it, things change on your computers. You plug devices in and out. Make sure that the configuration you used before is still set properly before you join a call. And then just making sure you have the right equipment, right? Most webcams on a computer these days are pretty high quality,
right,
but the audio still isn't quite there. So getting something like, a $50 headset like this and using that, one thing it's going to do is it's going to isolate your audio, right? I don't have just a microphone on my computer that's picking up the entire room's noise. It's isolating it to just my voice, and that can help cut out a lot of background noise. And also your microphone on your laptop is going to pick up your speakers, because it's just
not
out
really
in the open.
Designed for video conferencing.
Exactly. So even the best echo cancellation software can struggle if my speakers are turned up really loud and that kind of thing. And then prepare for lighting. A lot of people think, I get right in front of this, or I have a window behind me, it's lighting up the room.
You get that witness protection look.
Exactly. You get that kind of ghost silhouette. So make sure that light source is mostly in front of you, and that's going to make sure that they can see your face. Most things have a little picture-in-picture preview that's going to show you what everybody else is seeing. Use that. Make sure that you're not just a ghost in the background and that your light is coming from the front.
Makes sense, yeah. And, prepping for the meeting not only is really important, but what about some of the things during the meeting? You don't want to make sure your kids are in the background running around.
Yeah, there's kind of conference call etiquette that people kind of forget when they're just staring at a screen, right? There's a lot of things that you wouldn't do if I was sitting here in a meeting with you, or I'm in a boardroom with a bunch of employees, there's certain etiquette you have when you're around people, and people kind of lose that when they're behind a computer and don't really.
They kind of forget, especially folks working at home, working remote.
You get comfortable in your office.
Exactly. Yeah, you get more comfortable.
You forget. So the big one is muting your call, right? Always make sure you're on mute, and don't trust that mute button. They're pretty good. If it says I'm on mute, you are. But people forget, and you hear those horror stories about people saying things that they shouldn't have when they thought they were muted. But even just being distracting, right? If you're not talking, it's always a good idea to mute. So use that button. Make sure you know where it is. Again, in that planning, be familiarized with the interface, and keep your audio muted unless you're talking. And then just if you're at home, if you're on the road, minimize your distractions, right? People are always typing out emails, getting on, answering other phone calls. You see that they mute their audio and then they answer another phone call. Well, if it's a really important phone call, mute your video too, just because even if they're not hearing you, people see you as a participant, and they see you on a phone call, and it's just distracting, and you don't want to be that person that's kind of sidetracking the call or being distracting. And again, use etiquette as if you were in the room. I'm not going to take a phone call when we're in a face-to-face meeting.
Texting or doing
unless it's really important. I'm not going to be typing out my email while you're talking to me. Use that same etiquette that you would in an in-person call, and treat video like you would being face-to-face, because that's the idea with video, right? It's powerful because we're seeing each other, we're interacting face-to-face. So treat it like that.
Yeah, it's effectively the same thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about actually prepping and organizing the meeting as the organizer? Like today, for example, I'm the host, so did a couple of things before this meeting to actually set myself up for success as an organizer, right? So, talk to us a little bit about maybe some tips and tricks or any recommendations you have for actually organizing the meeting. What would you recommend for that person?
Yeah, all of us, we want to host our own meetings, or we sometimes get tasked with, okay, I need you to run the big company board meeting or all hands meeting, right? So just prepare for it in the same way you would an in-person meeting. I need to know things like, where are we holding this, right? Make sure that room is booked.
Some of the basics scheduled. That people forget. You have a meeting and it's scheduled prior and things look like they're going to go well, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, my conference room's booked for something else.
Yeah, so make sure we know where this is taking place, and we can then go into some of that setup stuff, right? What is the audio like in that room? What is the lighting like in that room? What kind of angles do I have for setting up a camera? Is there a video conference system set up in this room? Am I going to need to bring that equipment? So kind of plan that, and also think about who is going to be talking. So
this is really important.
Yeah, is everybody going to be present in this room, and are we teaching out to a larger remote audience over a video, or are we going to have multiple people speaking from different locations over video that I need to take into account? So kind of plan who's going to be talking in this meeting. Is it just a free-flowing meeting, as if everybody's going to be kind of going back and forth and have a more free-flow conversation? And then who's your audience? Do I need to set this up as kind of a lecture type meeting where I'm going to have one person presenting to many people and they don't really need to be heard other than maybe for questions and stuff? So prepare for that. And is your audience people that maybe don't use video often? So maybe I need to help them, give them some pointers, like, hey, this is the call, but also here's some things to test before the call, so you can make them look good and set them up for success, right? So take those things into account, and then use the tools for the platform you're using. Like with LifeSize, we have moderator features and lecture features that you can use to make sure this goes smoothly, but most conferencing call platforms are going to have something similar. So go in, assign a moderator, and assign a leader. So if I'm talking and I'm going to be the one presenting out to everybody, I probably don't have time to worry about who's muted and is this person distracting? Do they need to be removed from the conference? Is the slideshow set up? Assign a point person if this is a large meeting that's more formal to run the meeting, so that when you're up there talking, you don't have to be the person running it all. For LifeSize Live, we've got Kenny here running everything in the background that nobody sees, right?
Visual
because
cues,
you and I can't be running this meeting while we're here talking to everybody. So assign that so that they can control things, they can kick things off, they can help people get into the meeting that are struggling.
Give you the visual cues.
Exactly, so the meeting can go. And then, most of those moderator tools are going to give you the option to mute people. So if somebody just has that dog that won't shut up, I can go mute them and keep them quiet, and it doesn't have to derail the meeting or stop the meeting, and it can help it go smoothly.
Awesome. Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. We really appreciate you coming out today and kind of explaining a little bit, tips and tricks. Sometimes it could seem a little overwhelming, but I think it's really important to spend that extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes right before the meeting and just make sure you've got everything in place and you're not going to be surprised with a little hiccup in the middle of a meeting or something like that.
Exactly. And you want these meetings to go smooth. And if you're the person tasked with deploying video across your company, utilize the tools that the platform you're using gives you.
Right.
LifeSize, we have training and a great customer success team
that
does onboardings and trainings for your admins, for your end users, and utilize that stuff, because video is a very powerful tool, right? But a lot of times you get one shot to deploy that. And if people have problems with these meetings, if they were embarrassed because they were the person that couldn't get their audio working and the meeting was 5 minutes late because they couldn't figure out their computer, they're going to shy away from video.
Absolutely.
Right? Or if people have a bad experience because that one person had the dog barking and walked away to take a phone call, and now we have to wait 5 minutes for that person to get back because we can't get rid of them, and the meeting is getting derailed, they're not going to use video again next time because they had a poor experience. So use your tools, prepare, make sure your video calls go smoothly, and people will get that wow experience and see the power of video and start to really use it and adopt it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Steve. Join us next week for another edition of LifeSize Live, and we'll see you next time.